Okay, today we're going to do a setup, make it easy for everybody and a little bit of training on the Pasco Capstone 850 Universal Interface and how to actually use it. I have, for the experiment today, I have a inclined plane on with a cart rolling down it, and I have the motion sensor 2. Now I have a photo of the motion sensor in the universal interface box. At this point in time, I'm trying to use a broadcast monitor capture thing. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is log into the computer with your username and then your password. And after the computer does its thing, we're going to go to the Pasco Capstone software. And it's right there. It's an icon on the desktop. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to plug in, physically plug in, and you'll hear it rattling around, physically plug in the motion sensor and plug that into the 850 universal interface. The yellow plug will always get put into port 1 in the digital input and the black one in port 2. Okay, now there's a second motion sensor you can put in, and you would put the yellow one into port 3 and 4. And we're going to tell the computer that the motion sensor is plugged in. We actually have to do a hardware setup in the software. So you're going to click right here. You can see right there it says hardware setup, and it opens up a little box. And I am going to put in port 1, click on port 1, and there's a drop down box, and you scroll down until you find the motion sensor 2. And you click on that. So that was all I needed to do for the hardware setup for this little experiment. This is a basic demo, and show you what's going on here. Okay, nope, let's close out on that. Don't know what that was. Anyway, now I need to grab some information, and they have nice displays, templates that are right in front. I'm actually going to grab a table and graph template right there, and you can make your own. Let's grab what they have here. Now it opens up with a little spreadsheet here, and there's 2 columns that come up, and you also have a graph table on the other side. So let's go. I'm going to work with the table here, and we're going to actually create a couple of columns during the experiment. But we want some information in this table, and we're going to select some measurements. So for example, maybe on this one I want to record the position. So I drop down and I put the position in there. And maybe the next thing I want to do, okay, on the next table, on next column, would be to drop down and grab a velocity column. If I wanted, I could add more columns by going up to the top here. And I'm not sure exactly what these things are called, and it's called insert empty columns to the right. Maybe we can insert empty columns to the left. I'm not sure. And nope. Anyway, it's going to automatically do it to the right. And right here, you can see in the very corner here, I'm going to insert another column. And maybe this time I want to call it acceleration. I click on the acceleration. And then just out of habit, I tend to grab another column, and I actually put the time in there, just in case we have to hand crunch out some stuff. And boom, that's the time. So that looks like a pretty nice setup for what I would like to do today. Obviously, your experiment may be different, but this is just a basic setup. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to upload this to YouTube and just see how it looks. Now, the next thing we have here is we have a graph. And the graph says nothing. It says you've got to select the measurements. And I'm going to select position. And it automatically puts in position versus time in that. Okay? Now, I could add another graph, okay, by either clicking up here, okay, and that puts another graph in a similar context of this layout here. And I'm going to click on that. And that was the I believe it was the single arrow, the arrow arrow, it's a double arrow, and it's right up here. The other one's a single arrow, and it says add new axis. Okay, so you have the option of these two right there, but that's where they are. And I'm going to select this and just say, for example, I want velocity, and we'll go with that for right now while I run the experiment. Now, also, as the motions, by default, the motion sensor sets the sampling rate at 20 hertz. For this experiment, I'm going to actually slow it down, and I'm going to put it on 10 hertz. You can put it on whatever. 20 hertz is good, but we'll have a lot of data collected in that amount of time. So now we're ready to roll a cart down a track, and I'm going to go get that cart in a second. And you can hear me moving it. And I am going to, as a right-handed person, I'm going to try to do everything with my left hand. The record button is right there, and I'm going to quickly and briefly capture some data, and then I'm going to shut it off before the cart comes to the end of the track and bumps into a rubber stopper I have. If you're doing it as a team, you want to catch that cart. They're a little costly, and they don't fall on the floor very easily. Okay, we're going to record, and let go. Stop. Okay. Let's see what I got here. I have some data to analyze. So let's take a look at this data right here, and I can move this around the hand and move that down. I might want to move that down. I really don't have any negative time, but if something strange happened on this one, I may do this again. But I'm going to spread this out just to make my graph look a little better. And if I want, I can actually work in the area. I can delete some stuff, and the delete is it's up here, I believe. Run 1. That's the run. And where's mine? There's a thing called eliminate. I forget where it is. Okay, highlight. Okay, I just highlighted. There's like a yellow pen up there, and you highlight. And then you can actually exclude the data points. And you notice when I'm excluding the data points, it also excludes it from the position right there. And I will enter on that and exclude the data points. And right there, exclude. It was a right click on the mouse, exclude the highlighted data points. And there we go. That takes it out of the picture. And you're going to have to do the same over for this too. I'll click on the area first, click on the yellow pen, move that over to the spot that I don't need, and with the once again right click on the mouse and exclude the data points. And now we can get some actually pretty nice looking data that we can take a look at. Let's see how this actually turned out. I'm back up here at position, and there's a couple things I really like, and that is the fit to curve. Okay, as the position versus time is quadratic. And let's see how that actually looks. Doesn't get much better than that. The position, the velocity versus time is a linear, and that looks pretty nice. Now, a couple other nice things you can do. There's a XY indicator, and it's right here, add coordinates, and I believe it's right. XY coordinates, please. Add multi-coordinate tool. So you can actually pinpoint. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, you can actually pinpoint the line and your points exactly with time and move it back and forth. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to save this program, convert it, and try to upload it into YouTube. The last one I uploaded didn't look that pretty. So that's the basic setup for what I wanted to do today, and that's basically look at the position, velocity, and acceleration curves. I didn't actually look at the acceleration curve, but I could have done that by adding another a graph, which it takes a little time and a little practice. Okay. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, make sure you ask them, and I will see how this looks afterwards.